Hello YouTube, Red to Green here. Today is December 8th, 2021. Another recap. Man, what a day. Traded 4 stocks in total. The big two players were EFOI and ISIG, for me at least, STRN and VRPX. So the 4 stocks, I was watching EFOI from 9 a.m. into market open, and ISIG gave actually a pretty good opportunity right before market open for good scalps. Unfortunately, I don't really take trades right at the market open. I trade TOS, TD Ameritrade. They tend to, well, that broker tend to lag in the first minute of a market open. So by lag, I mean when you click a button or you press a hotkey to execute an order, the order just sits there sometimes, and it could take sometimes upwards to a minute before the execution happen. So I don't take the trades first couple minutes of market open. Anyway, I was watching EFOI. So what happened today? I kind of went down. Not kind of. I did went down in EFOI. $270 down, 275, I believe it was. I I start using larger size. I was using 1,000 shares, and I saw an opportunity. It was moving. It was a strong stock. It was moving pretty good. But my fills were horrible. I was getting filled at the tops, and then when I tried to get out, I was getting filled at the bottom. And I noticed even after waiting 3 minutes after market open, when I pushed my hotkey, it took like a half a second to a second before the order executes. So I don't know if and my charting was lagging. And see, the charting and the broker are separate. So I wasn't sure if it's my computer, my PC, or what's going on. I mean, I checked the internet, everything was good. The pre-market was actually good. So I don't know if it's because I'm streaming live on another social platform, or what's going on. The resources are just not there. I don't know. I need to look into that, because obviously I can't be down almost $300 just because of I'm streaming or something. I need to figure something out. Maybe kind of consolidate some of the applications I have open. Some of the streaming software does take a while. So on top of streaming, I do record my trading screen, so that could be a factor too. And I have a lot applications open for different scenarios, like a scanner application, a charting application. Charting application actually is on multiple monitors, so there's a lot of them. So I don't know if that's a factor um, that could cause that, but I mean, obviously, I can't have that happen again. And plus, I guess it's partially my fault too. I increased the size, knowing I see the lag, and yet I still increase the size. That greed factor, I guess, to gain more money on a strong stock was there. So I know some people capitalized on it pretty well. It was definitely a good opportunity to to gain some cash today. Again, and my trading style is slightly different. I scalp. My trades are in and out, usually to a second to 2 second. And people who hold in this type of market, in this type of stock, were actually a lot more profitable rather than just getting in, getting out. But anyway, EFOI was big for me this morning. Let's look at EFOI. Right at the open, good opportunities, right? It went from 340 to 440, so a dollar move on this stock. Market open, hit 380 high, right? 388, almost broke 4. It didn't, so retraced. That's where I was watching, and I was watching a break of 360 right here, 364, and I did, and I started trading. I got in and a break, and kind of, well, maybe I didn't get in because it was moving so fast. That's when my chart was lagging, because my chart was still showing like a 360, and a level 2 was showing already at 383. So I kind of like, okay, what's going on there? So I didn't trade this break. I did trade the next 3 minutes. I think yeah, I was trading break of four. That's actually what got me. I was trading break of four. It was sitting at 399 at four, and I saw those sellers coming in, and it was just sitting, and I was trying to attempt that four break of four a couple times, and I was kept getting in. I was like, okay, it's gonna happen, and when I try to get out, when I see that dump, it was dumping like 10 to 11 cents, and it was 1,000 shares. That's like $120. So three trades, that's a $330 right there in the loss. So that's again, I guess, a downside of my trading style, right? That in this specific stock, when I notice that behavior, when it's dumping 10 cents and not 7 cents, or I mean not 3 cents or 4 cents, I should be more cautious, or maybe potentially change my execution strategy, like maybe try to get on that dump like that 10 cents. If I notice that 10 cents and I see it's kind of holding that 90 level from 4 to 90, from 4 to 390, and kind of trying to get in and get that 93 average, right? That gives me a lot more room to play and kind of sit through some of that noise. And if it happened, then obviously you see that 330 was the way to get out. I probably would have got out like at 416. So 490, I mean 393 to 416. You're talking about what, 27 cents here, 23 cents. So anyway, it was rough. The morning was rough, and after being down 275 on EFOI, I was pretty much digging myself out the rest of the day, and I dug myself out. I'm up 74. I was 120, up 120 at some point, but then I gave it back on. What did I give it back on? I gave it back on VRPX. So anyway, EFOI was 275 down. I did manage to kind of scalp some of the bounces of that VWAP right here at 10 o'clock, and I believe I traded this 10:12 a.m. area too. So I was able to gain back about 160 back. So out of that 275, so I'm still down 105 on that, but kind of recouped some of that losses. And then ISIG was pretty much halted, and it was halted for 10 minutes, I believe, at some point. I wasn't paying attention. I was kind of like, okay, I was in the zone. I was trading EFOI, trying to like, okay, I got to recoup that loss, and I partially did, but I was kind of zoning, and I was missing a lot of move on ISIG. So that's not good too. And there were some pretty awesome bull flags right here, as you notice at 10 o'clock that ISIG gave us. So missed on that, but anyway, nothing to dwell on. The good thing is I did trade some of the bounces in this kind of noisy area. I guess the break of 24 was another area I traded. I was up 180 at some point on it, but it was kind of hovering around that price range. The interesting thing about ISIG, if you're not careful, the fills will hurt you, because I was trading like 125 shares, 275 to 275 shares, and sometimes I was getting fills like 40 cents difference between what I actually pressed the button at, and it was, sometimes it's in a good way, right? It was kind of like that fill was actually lower than the actual price was shown. But I don't know, again, it's because I was lagging and got lucky. But that stock was very choppy, and I noticed, I was rewatching the video from today's trading, and I noticed it was about 35 cents spread at some point. That was interesting too, right? So I started looking more at the bid for that stock, and I was like, okay, is bid holding up? Because before I'm looking at ask, right? The ask kind of, if it's jumping around, it's actually gives me a hint of demand if the ask is going way up and fast. But now I kind of focused on bids, and I noticed that sometimes the ask will jump in and the bid stays. And that's what I was getting out. I was getting out when the ask was up, but the bid didn't move. So I end up flat or even in the loss, because I got in somewhere in between the ask and the bid was TOS at the market order, and I was getting out back at the bid, which didn't move. So obviously I was that half a spread difference loss was, shares. So I kind of started looking at the bid, and it helped. I was waiting for the bid to move up, plus that initial momentum jump on ISIG, and it actually worked. So I was able to gain back most of the losses from EFOI. So that was it on ISIG, and it kind of started tapering down, broke the VWAP down, and kind of tried to recoup again. That's where I traded it a little bit, but nothing. It was like I was spinning my wheels on one spot. So it was just chop. It was pop and then drop, pop and drop. So I just gave up on it. STRN and VRPX were the next one. So VRPX was actually interesting. I didn't expect VRPX to do what it did. I saw it touch that 478, 477 area, broke the VWAP. I was like, okay, well, potentially maybe something here. And then later it's like it got into 489, and I'm like, start pay attention into it. And then I was like, okay, let me try. And I got in that break, I believe 490 to 93, and I was trading like 500 shares to 1,000 shares on it, maybe 500 shares. And I was kind of scalping small cents. I wasn't convinced in that stock. That stock was just, it didn't move at all. And after open, look at that volume. There was nothing. I'm like, okay, it's just a fluke, right? And then it just proved me wrong. It started moving after 93. It hit 530 right there. So with 500 shares, it could have been 40 cents win on that. So it could have been good 200, $300 on that stock. But I just didn't believe in it. And that's another issue, right? Sometimes you just have to believe in what's market is showing you, not what you actually believed before. Because you saw that volume was going up on the 5 minute and on the 1 minute. So it definitely gave us some good opportunities. And then it started flushing. Right here, I was actually watching this hold of VWAP and then break of this 535 again. And it just never happened. And I just kept losing money on it. I was up maybe $70-$80 on it. And then I just gave it pretty much all back. So I'm up $17 on it. So nothing really, just flat. Same thing with STRN. This thing was crazy. I didn't trade it until later, until the 6 area, and I was trying to play this break of 6. And look at those high wicks on break of 6. It's pretty insane. And I was playing that. I was in at 603, and I was trying to get out at 607. I couldn't. And the spread on that, it was interesting too. It was showing a 1 cent spread at some point for STRN. And I was like, okay, that makes sense. That's okay. It's decent. It's not moving a lot, so 1 cent is good. But then as soon as the volume will start coming in, you see those little jumps of volume right here. The spread will go up to 4 cents, to 3 cents. And then that's just, for my trading style, it's not worth it, because I trade scalps off of momentum, right? Of that initial next candle or whatever, candle over candle. And if the stock moves 5 cents of that break and the spread is 4 cents or 3 cents, that only gives me a 2 or 1 cent of potential profit. But then you have to also consider the fact that I'm trading a TOS, which never gives you a really good feel. So considering those factors, you kind of start thinking, okay, maybe I shouldn't trade it. And I mean, there were some opportunities there where it gave us 10 to 12 cents moves. Maybe it was less than that. Sorry, it was like 7 to 10 cent move. And I scalped a little bit, and it was 500 shares. I believe I was trading, or 250. I did make maybe 3 cents or something at some point. 2 cents average for me right here, $10. So again, nothing really to show. It was just not my stock at all. That spread, the 4 cent spread, was just killing my trades. And I didn't trade a lot of it, but I did attempt in the highs here in the 6 areas. Anyway, that was the day for me. Those are the 4 stocks I traded. Definitely some good opportunities on ISIG. If you had some willpower here, if you had diamond hands, right? That's what they say for the ISIG. Those jumps, those $2, 2 point jumps, $2 jumps, was 1,000 shares. Could have been nice. Um, Direct access broker, hotkeys with preset, take profits. It's definitely an opportunity if you know what you're doing. Now it's dangerous, right? It definitely could have flushed. You see, you saw some ISIG flushes, right? Like this 1 minute flush right here from 23.17 to 20. That's all what, $2 flush, $2.50 flush. Yeah, like it's a false breakout too. Like, look, somebody who trades a breakout, yeah, you might have just set this top right here 23.22, but this breakout right here, the flat top of these two candles, I I might have even traded it. That's why I lost. But yeah, if you're not quick enough, or and it's see bounce, I was supporting that support line right here. It just bounced it off of it. If you're waiting for that break to happen, you gotta anticipate, right? That's that's how you make money, by anticipating something that could happen without potential big loss. So if you anticipated the break of that trend line and continuation of that, you would have taken that trade around 2270. And if you would try to hold at 2320 or 2315 and hoping for it to go up, then you would have been down. So yeah, some nasty stuff, nasty movements. But anyway, that's it for today. I'm glad to be green. Red to green, baby.